The S&P 500 daily cloud chart shows that the price close end of day Friday 4405.71, and the baseline 26 bars back concerning this lagging line for Monday is at 4453.26 still, and will be for at least a couple more days. So if it can get past 4453.26, then the baseline and current price is at 4471.53, and the top of the cloud for Monday is at 4487.04. So even just basing the upside move on the baseline for current price 4471.53, you can see everything price has to go through to get to that level. So let me take a deep breath and see if I can rattle them all off in one breath. The bottom of the potential uptrend channel, the pitchfork 3 level, daily baseline, daily horizontal line from 10/18/2021, the upper Stark band, the weekly diamond bottom, uptrend extension, 50 EMA, 50 simple moving average, 21 EMA, 20 MA, weekly conversion line. And I couldn't finish it all. I had to take another breath. So that's a lot to go through to get there. I do expect it to try to start poking its nose or banging at the door at some of those upper levels. First it's the 50 EMA here in green right there, and before that is the daily horizontal line 06/16/2023. So 50 EMA will be somewhat formidable. If it gets through that, then it's knocking at the door of R1, 4430. Get through that. There's the weekly diamond bottom uptrend extension, 4440. So that's a lot to go through. You can see the rest of them. R2, 4456. And yeah, once it starts getting up to the daily baseline, if it blasts through all that, right around the baseline here is the pitchfork level 3 from the patterns chart perspective, and upper Stark band 4475 if it decides to poke its nose above that. So that's a lot to blast through. A weekly conversion line 4468 is right around there. So it'll be interesting to see what it gets through and how easy it is to get through those levels for Monday. And to the downside is the bottom uptrend channel potential there at 4372, the daily arc point 382, the top of the broadening top pattern, pivot point, and S1. And all of that between where it closed and the daily baseline, it doesn't look that bad when you're looking at it this way, but it's in the cloud and there's a lot of stuff to go through before it gets out of it. And we don't talk much about the QQE. It's similar to RSI. It has a fast level here in blue and then a slow QQE. So you want to see the crossover from the fast above the slow would be nice, and it is pointed up. It's been going horizontal for a few days, pointed up. The slow is flattened out, and they're both below 50, so a crossover above the slow one here by the fast would be a really good sign if it happens below 50, and that usually is a pretty good sign of more upside potential. And the zigzag indicator has had a swing point where this low is here on the 18th, so you can see it coincides with where the D wave up wave 4 is at That's what it's good for, following the waves. And now is pointed up. So that's another good sign. And here's what it looks like with everything else switched on. I'll zoom in a bit. And there's that 50 EMA moving average in gold above where the closing price is. Daily conversion line is at 4407.09, so price did close below it. So right off the bat for Monday, it has a little bit of a struggle to get above that, but not too hard to do. It's just a couple of points, but then there's the 50 EMA. Then the ongoing supply line to start the day on Monday is at 4431.73. So a gap up between this high 4418.46 and where the ongoing supply line is 4431.73. In the morning, if it gaps up between there and then closes above the supply line, again 4431.73, that will qualify the supply line. If price opens above the supply line 4431.73 and then subsequently closes above it, that will also qualify it. So there's two ways there. And then that third way, which I don't mention that often, but sometimes get caught with my pants down, is if price can exceed the previous day's buying pressure, and that level is at 4306.87, so down here. So if price heads down here and gets below 4306.87 and then subsequently turns around and then shoots up and gets above the supply line 4431.73 and closes above that, that will also qualify this ongoing supply line. So it's the first two that have the most feasible chance. And to the downside, right around the bottom of the cloud, is this ongoing demand line. So a close below that level, which is at 4337.24, and that will be qualified if it can close below that for end of day on Monday. And that's going to be a show of strength to the downside if it does that, because it will have to get past the bottom of the cloud and probably this lower Stark band